Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of the Storytime Society. I'm so happy you're here. I'm so glad you're alive. Thank you for tuning in to another episode. I'm your host Jamie, and today's episode theme is cheaters, cheating clowns. I don't know. But yeah, that's about it. So we're going to get started with our first story, which is it's written by a drunk person, so bear with me because, the writing of the title alone is a little bit wishy washy. Drunk texts, if you've ever received one, it's giving that vibe. So let's go. All right. I, female 27, saw him, male 32, with his coworker at 2 a.m. in our shower as I came home from a trip early to surprise him. He has no idea. It's 6 a.m., I'm drunk, and I don't know what to do next. I had taken a trip for a couple of days and thought since I had the next couple of days off, including Valentine's Day, I decided to come home and surprise him. Gosh, this is so hard to type. I'm shaking typing and I can barely see. I bought takeout and beers to surprise him, and before bringing things in, I wanted to sneak up on him and, I don't know, yell surprise or something. I unlocked the front door quietly, opened it, and went to find him. I walked up our stairs and heard noises from the bathroom. Showers on, doors open, and OMG, on the effing door, I see panties hanging on the doorknob. It took everything in me to not scream. I walked to the door, and in the mirror behind our see-through shower curtains, I see him pinning her up against the wall like he does to me. I never knew the saying was real, when you see red, but I saw effing red. I wanted to kill them both. I wanted to do something. I thought about slapping their naked bodies so hard that I would leave marks. We've been together for 4 years. Ugh, I didn't even say anything. Was that a mistake? Gosh, this is so cliche. I didn't cry. He didn't deserve my tears. I didn't even let them know I was there. I just pulled out my phone quickly, took a picture, and walked out. I was so angry during the drive, I almost crashed. Pulled over, and just like that, I ended up at this hotel that I'm currently checked into. I had sat on the edge of the bed and stared at the wall for what felt like hours, and I started to drink. One sip turned into a bottle, and the numb feeling makes everything easier. He texted me once saying, "What happened? Did your plane get delayed?" Like everything was normal. Like he wasn't just inside another woman. I didn't reply. I should be planning my next move, but I can't. I can barely think. The betrayal, the humiliation, the anger is all consuming me. I don't know if I'm more hurt by the cheating or by how easy it was for him to text and wonder where I am. We're not married, thank God, but I want to or not want to hit him hard with this effing humiliation. Edit, I should clear things up. Now that I'm calming down and planning my next move, I should clarify he proposed to me on my birthday. We are not yet married, though. I called him my husband in the post because what the F, he was going to be my husband. Edit number 2. OMG, I didn't think that this would get so much attention. Thanks so much for the needed support. It's 9:30 a.m., I haven't slept, drank some more, and I feel like absolute shit. I'm just holding a buzz. I showered for God knows how long, cried for even longer, and there's responses I want to respond to. But it just sends me into a spiral of tears. I texted him saying my flight was delayed and that there were no flights till Valentine's Day. God, I bet he is just happy, that effer. So I've done some thinking and I want to get it so he watches me walk away and he can't do anything about it. I've already texted my brother, my God, send of a brother, to let my parents know that I'm coming home. He lives in town, so he's got a friend to drive my car while we go to my parents. They live about 5 hours away. I'm in no shape to drive. I'm not sure how to keep updating you guys unless it's in the comments or editing. I don't know how to make an update post. Someone has to show me. I must have looked pathetic sitting alone, stuffing my face with tears streaming down my face. I tend to eat when I'm feeling negative, but it made me feel a little better, especially now that I can kind of think more rationally. I'm currently waiting for my brother. As for the situation at hand, I'm going to text him that on Valentine's Day I want him to meet me at our restaurant, and I'm going to get some type of metal trinket that holds photos, but in there and have him open it. Put it in there and have him open it. Or, I don't know. Once he sees it, I'm going to take my ring off and just walk out without a word. That's all I got for now. Edit number 3, you guys are seriously the best. The amount of support from everyone is phenomenal. I just wanted to say that, first and foremost, God, I'm a lot more straight-headed now. We stopped for some more food on the way to my parents, and we're about maybe a little before halfway there. It's a drive. I thought about this whole situation, and from looking at the comments and guidance from my brother and his friend, and even who I am as a person, this man seriously hurt me. I'm so relieved that didn't happen while we were married, or worse, started a family together. I want kids. I want that life, but absolutely not with a pencil dick like this dickwad. I made an appointment to get checked for STIs and whatnot, so that's fun. I can't wait to see my parents. My dad is so angry. I decided the text I sent will be my last text, and that kiss before I left on my trip will be the last time he sees me, hopefully. I can't say we won't see each other, but when we do, I'll look and feel a lot better than I ever was. I'll update again, but for now, I just need time. I need my family. Thanks again. Honestly, why is this girl a queen? Because she's slaying, if I've ever seen it. Also, the meeting and giving the picture in like a little metal trinket is honestly amazing. I would absolutely love to hear that is what she did. But I'm not really sure. As for this last edit, it seems like she's saying that she's not going to see him again, but I don't know how people keep quiet after things like this. Like after they see their partner cheating on them, like see it with their own eyes, how do they just act normal? I don't even understand, because the way that I would, even if I did walk out, which I don't really know because I've never been in that situation, so truly I don't know exactly how I would handle the situation. Like in that instance, I'm not really sure if I would be like, what the fuck are you guys doing? Or if I would also pretend like I wasn't there and just walk out. I really don't know. I think I would make the decision based off whatever I was feeling in that moment. But what I do know is that after like 2 minutes of seeing that, I would literally be blowing up his phone like, you dumb motherfucker. And I would actually be cussing him out over the phone. So I just don't understand how like multiple days go by and she acts like the plane is delayed and stuff. I mean, you're so strong for that, because I could never. I would be so petty and so insane. Like I think I would literally actually have like a psychotic spiral, because I mean, that is just like traumatizing to see that with your own eyes. Ew, that's disgusting. I would, even picturing that in my head makes me like pissed off, and it makes me kind of want to throw up and makes me sick to my stomach. So just like seeing it actually happen and it's real, especially being engaged, which is like another level of commitment, obviously. And then not only that, but you're surprising him. You got takeout, you got all this stuff to surprise him, and that's what he's doing. And then it makes you think, like, it makes you spiral so much, like, what was he doing all the other times that I was gone? Is this been happening a lot? Also, yeah, the STI thing, that's just so irresponsible. And if he did have an STI, like, that's literally illegal to not say that or like disclose that. So he was just sleeping with other people while sleeping with her, but she thought he was only sleeping with her. So she didn't think she had anything to worry about. But oh, that's just crazy and maniacal, and I can't even imagine that. But let's read some comments. All right. It says, leave the cheater, you'll be okay, and don't self-medicate too much. Agreed. Update me. My God, I would have quietly sat on the countertop and waited to give one of them a heart attack when they finally noticed me. Ghost him completely. When he's at work, you get your stuff out of there and change your address with the post office, then block him on everything and move on with your life. At least you found out before you got married or had kids together. Honestly, this is such a blessing, because especially, obviously everyone's different, but I think in my personal opinion, it would be much easier for me to move on from this person. Like, there would be no question about maybe getting back together, like, or maybe we'll get back together, maybe this was the love of my life. If I saw this, it would be so like cut and dry. Just obviously that's not the love of my life, and obviously I will never get back together with that person. That person can actually go tie a brick to their foot and jump in the ocean. That is how I would feel. So I would just be, not saying that it would be easy or anything. Like, I definitely would be so hurt, but it would be a different kind of hurt, like more of an angry hurt and less of like a sad, oh, I lost this person that was so good in my life. And it would just be more like, actually, fuck you, and I hate you. And I'm so pissed I wasted my time on you. But obviously, wasting your time on someone or in a relationship honestly isn't even a thing, because you learn so much and you develop so much in that time. And even from like situations, negative situations, you can always turn it into a positive situation. Although it doesn't seem like that, but I feel like that just like catapults you into a different stage of life. And as long as you make good decisions, because obviously like I don't I do not fault her for immediately like drinking and finding a crutch immediately, but hopefully after a couple days of that she like comes out of it and is like, okay, I got to like learn how to heal in a more healthy way, and then that will literally catapult you into a much more fulfilling, amazing life, and you'll find the best like partner, because you're going to learn so much from that shitty situation and what you're, because I'm sure there had to be red flags that she was ignoring with like rose colored glasses on. There had to be, because there's no way this man just like fully cheats like that in that manner and isn't sending off a little bit of a signal before. Not saying that it was her fault at all. Obviously, it's not her fault that he cheated on her, but I'm just saying I'm sure this guy wasn't like the best guy, and hopefully she will learn like what to look out for in her next partner. Okay, some more comments. I think the best revenge is psychological. Ghost him, never speak to him again, give him zero closure, and have him always wondering if you knew about the affair. I'm so sorry this is happening to you, but I'm glad you know the truth and you didn't waste another 4 years. OP said, God, that's the hardest part. I gave this guy 4 years of my life. I'm happy we're not married. We don't have kids. I wanted to hit him so hard with something, but I'm not that type of person. How could I have not seen it? I'm so embarrassed. And then they responded and said, if you look at the bright side, you're only 27. I had to start over at 37 and it wasn't that bad. You have a whole life ahead of you. OP said, that's absolutely true. I just can't believe it. Everything we talked about, now that I'm calming down, I realized all the I don't want to lose you to another guy bullshit was really just him projecting. Oh, so real. Because actually, I'm not even going to lie and say that. Like, I haven't had those thoughts in my head that someone was cheating on me and I wasn't doing the same. So I don't think in every case it's someone projecting, but I do think that there are a lot of situations in which the people are rejecting when they're like insecure about that. But when you're in a healthy relationship, and honestly, sometimes you have to look at like who, because I for sure, even in my relationship now, at the beginning of our relationship, I was definitely toxic in the way that I was very insecure and I let my anxious attachment take over. We were also long distance, so I feel like that adds just another layer of insecurity. And I think like a lot of people would struggle with that unless you're like the most secure person ever. But I am not. And I also just didn't really give my time. I didn't really give myself time to heal after my breakup previous to that. So I think that kind of messed me up a little bit, and I should have taken more time to myself to heal, but I just kind of jumped into a relationship not that long after. It was like probably 5 months, I'm thinking, or maybe 6, since actually, I would say it was probably a good 7 months, honestly. But like 7 months isn't that much, especially when you're in like a 4-year relationship previous to that. But yeah, I definitely think sometimes you have to take a step back and like see, even if you feel like your relationship is healthy, it could just be healthy on like one end, but which this has nothing to do with the story, but I'm just saying that I think that in the beginning of my relationship, I was a little bit unhealthy because of how insecure I was, and that definitely was like projecting onto my partner, but not in a way that like meant that I was cheating on him, because I wasn't. I was just insecure and anxious really badly. Like honestly, it was it was such a terrible feeling. I'm not even kidding. I couldn't even think about anything else other than that. It's like during long distance, that when I was in that unhealthy state of mind, I ended up getting help and like finally healing mostly that like anxious attachment side of myself, and long distance was a lot easier. But in the beginning I was just like, actually, so I don't know. I feel like I looked ill. Like I felt ill mentally and I looked ill. And I hate that like I let a relationship have that much control over me, but it was really my insecurities having control over me because I couldn't think about anything else. I would think about all day long like, am I being cheated on? Does he even love me? Blah 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 blah. Be just like all the anxious thoughts that you could ever possibly think of. And that was like genuinely I felt like I was losing my mind. I felt like I was going insane. And that was like the worst feeling ever. And I don't wish that feeling on anyone. And I can't believe that I took so long after that to end up getting on medication. Like, Jesus, I really made myself suffer when in reality, I could have just gotten on medication and like gotten better. But I'm thankful that I'm not feeling that way anymore. Okay. Next story is called I Caught a Guy in My Girlfriend's Bed Last Night. So last night, me and my girlfriend were in a bit of an argument that she initiated, and then after, I just bit my tongue and apologized to her. She completely ignored the apology and went on about something else. The argument was that I didn't feel comfortable with her hanging out with this guy in her room alone, especially after he made some uncomfortable verbal advances to her. She then later that night told me that she understood and she wouldn't have him in her room anymore alone. But when she went MIA for 2 hours, I got a little curious, and something deep inside me kept telling me to go over to her house, like an echoing voice in the back of my head saying, go to her house. So I eventually went over to her house after I got off my second job, and as I pulled in, she's texted saying she's been reading a book. I text her regularly, like, okay, that's cool. I hope you're enjoying the book. Right after I sent that text, I walk into her room and right there I see this guy we just had this discussion about laid up in her bed. She tried saying that his ribs were broken and he needed help. But she's not a nurse or a doctor, so I'm like, what the F? Why would your friends drop him off at your house? Why not take him to the hospital? He could have had internal bleeding of something along the lines. So I'm obviously upset and I'm losing my mind. He starts talking shit to me and then I end up threatening him, but I didn't hurt anyone. She just kept saying he can't afford the hospital, but I mean, man, you're going to have to go to the hospital over some broken ribs eventually, lol. So this was all suspicious from the jump, especially after she told me that she wouldn't have this guy in her room alone anymore. She then texted me and said that she knows she effed up for not telling me, but she was sorry for it, so I broke up with her right then and there. But she wasn't sorry for it, so I broke up with her right then and there. Mind you, she has a habit of lying to me about various things, and each time I've broken up with her for something along the lines, she crawled back to me begging for me and practically acting like she's changed. But at this point, I'm so mentally and emotionally exhausted and drained, I don't even want to eat or work. I've only been eating once a day for the last month because the deep depression she's caused me. How do I move on and heal? Oh my gosh. Well, thank God you got out of that relationship because it just seems like it wasn't healthy to begin with. Because why would this woman think that that's an okay thing to do? Like, I feel like once you have to tell someone that this isn't the right thing to do, like, once you have to say, hey, I'm not comfortable with this person in your bed with this guy that's made sexual advances to you in your bed alone. Once you have to like say something so obvious that is so clear that anyone in a healthy relationship would never do to disrespect their partner, I feel like that's when you know it's over, which obviously it takes a little bit to like truly have that kick in. Yeah, you want to give the person that you love a chance. Trust me, been there, done that so many times. And especially when they're claiming that they've changed every single time. So you're like, okay, you've changed. Let me give you another chance. Totally makes sense. But honestly, once you're like begging someone to do something that is just human decency in a relationship and bare minimum in a relationship and expected in a relationship, that's when you know that it's over. So, but it's just hard to see when you're in that relationship because you just have such blinders on. Like you have no vision for red flags. Like the red flags turn so dull when you're in a relationship a lot of the time, and it's just so hard to recognize them. So it really sucks, but Okay, some comments. I was actually dying at the broken ribs. Like, not that he has broken ribs, so he's in my bed. Girl, that's insane. That is insane excuse. Okay, this person said, I recently recovered from broken ribs. You know what you don't do? Drive, cuddle, move in any direction because it hurts. Walk away. She's a terrible person and a bad liar. She's a very bad liar. It's genuinely insane. Someone said, she's not your girlfriend. And then OP said, oh, well, obviously not anymore since I saw that. Block her and go no contact. Remove messages and photos of you together. Basically anything that reminds you of her. Don't respond to her at all. And then someone said, can I just ask you why you kept going back to her after the lying? I'm a very firm believer that when someone shows you who they really are, you need to believe them. And I also strongly believe that you shouldn't keep doing the same things over and over and expecting a different result. It just doesn't happen. I wouldn't trust her as far as I could throw her. So yeah, I'd be gone. Like she never even existed. Just move on and hopefully you'll be more selective next time with whom you choose to trust. Good luck. And then someone responded to that saying, I have a one and done breakup policy and it saved me from so much drama and bad relationships. Hope he really needs to institute it. 100% I'm with you. I'm a Scorpion, so I operate on a fool me once and that's about the last damn time you'll ever see me, so don't worry about anything after that. Betrayal to me is automatic. You are dead to me. Yeah, but it's hard. I mean, it's amazing that some people are that way and they have that mindset, but the reality is that a lot of people don't have that mindset. Honestly, I think more so than not. Like a lot of people would rather give the person that they love another chance than have to go find someone new, which is obviously a negative outlook and a bad outlook and frankly the wrong outlook, because I don't think that you should ever take back someone just because you don't want to find someone new or you don't want to like start over again, which is a common phrase used when people end up like breaking up. But I think that once you get out of that relationship, then you finally realize and your eyes open up a lot more. But alrighty, let's move on to the next story. And this man is gonna get in my face. Okay. The title is My 34 Male Wife 33 Female Sat on the Lap of Another Man 40 Male. My wife of over 6 years, we've been together longer, just not married, sat on the lap of another man this past Sunday during a Super Bowl party we threw at our house. This man that I mention is actually a good friend of ours. He's no stranger. We've all known each other for many years due to him being the boyfriend of one of my wife's best friends, who was also present at the party. Now, to play out the situation, what happened was we were all sitting outside watching the game when along comes my wife, who is fairly intoxicated at this point, and starts shooting the shit with us. She then, without any reason, proceeds to sit on the lap on our friend. It wasn't sexual by any means, but there were other seats available, so I was confused as to what the F was going on. Even without there being seats, I obviously would have had the same reaction. I couldn't really tell how long time went by, but I audibly told her to sit down on the bench that was open next to him and asked what she was doing. I didn't make a thing of it, so nothing sparked out of the situation at that moment. That was until later that night when I confronted them both as he was leaving. I brought up to her in front of him how I thought that it was very inappropriate, and as a married woman, she shouldn't have done that. They both apologized and stated it's nothing like that, which I actually believe. I know it would never come down to it between them two like that, but the issue is it was just inappropriate, the nature of it, and how it makes me look as a husband and her as a wife. Now, here's when things kind of take a turn. My wife then begins to twist the situation and start saying how it's actually not that big of a deal and I'm just being insecure and more or less a little bitch. At this point, things turned up and we got into it. She refused to acknowledge how I felt and claimed it didn't seem as bad as I made it, and how she wouldn't care if her friend sat on my lap or how her friend doesn't mind it. I repeatedly told her I would never allow that because I'm a married man and that I couldn't care less if her friend doesn't mind such behavior. We went to bed with not much resolved, and we spoke the following morning, and she agreed that it was wrong and apologized again. Now, here's the reason why I decided to bring this up here on the subreddit, which I wasn't planning to. We mildly spoke about it today, and she brought up how she finally got around to speaking to her friend, whose boyfriend's lap she sat she sat on and apologized to her. She said how her friend said it was no big deal and they know it was never meant to be sexual. She then proceeded to tell me how I got her all flustered and made her think that she should have apologized to her friend like she did something really wrong. At this point, I just sat there and stared at her briefly, thinking to myself, am I going crazy here? And I'm truly the only one who doesn't see this as a problem. Am I truly the only one who doesn't see this as a problem? I let it go at that point, but I just can't shake off how I'm feeling about it. I cannot be the only one who deems this inappropriate, right? For exclusive content and stories, visit patreon.com/storytimesociety. Love you. I would also feel the same way. I think everyone has different boundaries in different relationships, but I think that since you have that boundary, she should know that. You would not be you would not be comfortable with that. I think you, without even saying, like, that's something that you don't really need to say. Obviously, there are other like relationships where I think that wouldn't be a big deal, but in this case, the fact that it is a big deal to you is fine, and she should be apologetic about that. And if that's not a big deal to her, then you guys aren't really aligning on your views or your values, I guess. And I feel like if anything, she just needs to suck it up and be like, I'm so sorry. I thought that it was fine, but obviously it's not. And I feel really bad that you are upset about that. And so I like won't do it again. Although that would probably piss me off because I'd be like, why would you think that was okay to begin with? Like, I don't want to be with someone that thinks that is okay and normal. Personally, in my own personal relationships, to each their own. If you want to be in a relationship like that or you're comfortable in a relationship like that, no judgment. Like, everyone's different. Everyone's relationships are different in the way that they set boundaries and how comfortable they are with certain things. But I just don't really see the point in sitting on another man's lap or sitting on another woman's lap as the husband. Like, I just don't see that point. I just don't understand how that would be like, why? Why would you do that? You can just sit next to him and be like, and hey, what's up? But the lap sitting is just interesting to me. Also, like, why not sit on your husband's lap? I don't know. It's just weird. It's all around a weird situation for sure. Okay. Some comments. As a married woman, I can't imagine sitting on another man's lap, sexual or not. It's inappropriate. I think if she was just drunk and did it thoughtlessly, she would have apologized and moved on. The fact that she's doubling down and making you out to be the bad guy raises bigger concerns, in my opinion. Someone said, as a girlfriend, I would never. And then someone said, I'm just a grown-ass single woman who can't imagine sitting on the lap of an adult man for any reason unless we were married or in a serious relationship. And it's stupid that she downplays the issue by saying that the girlfriend didn't have a problem. And that is totally fine if the girlfriend didn't have a problem like that. To each their own, like I said. But the fact that someone did have a problem isn't wrong. I think neither is wrong. It's the fact that she's denying that it was wrong, even though her husband thinks it was wrong. So therefore, it was wrong of her to do. Does that make sense? I don't know. Clearly, like, they're just not lining up, which, I don't know. It's annoying, but. Okay. And it's stupid that she downplays the situation or the issue by saying that the girlfriend didn't have a problem. I can imagine the friend being very irritated but not wanting to create drama. Just because she said it was okay doesn't mean that she's totally okay. The doubling down is disingenuous, trying to guilt him the next day if any woman at all, wife's friend or his coworker sat on his lap and she witnessed it, she would raise the issue and be upset that he did that. Of this we can be certain. I suggest OP bring that up. See, I feel like that's not true. I don't think that maybe she would be okay with it, because I don't think that that is like a universal thing. Like, I think maybe she would be fine with it, and that is something that they need to figure out together, because clearly, like, her not knowing that about him is a huge disconnect. Her not knowing that, like, she would what the fuck? Can I talk? Her not knowing that he wouldn't want her to do that is a huge disconnect, okay? Thank you. Thank you, mouth. Thank you, words, for coming out the way that I intend. Okay. So that's the end of the story time. We are going to move on to the advice segment. And we are actually going to have an advice question today. Amazing. Love it. I do collect emails now, guys, but don't worry. Like, I'm never going to share any of your info. It's going to be completely anonymous to the outside world, just obviously not to me because I can see your email, but I'm not going to do anything with that unless you're harassing me and I'm going to block you. So that's really the only reason that I'm collecting emails now. But, all right, let's get into it. Get into it. Okay. I'm seeking advice on whether to pursue a renewed connection with my ex partner, S. Our relationship has been complex, and I hope to provide a comprehensive overview to receive informed guidance. Relationship timeline. The initial meeting, S and I met around August/September 2023 and quickly developed a strong connection. The dating phase, we were dating for about 7 months, during which we had shared many meaningful experiences and deepened our bond. Transition to talking over time, our relationship shifted from formal dating to a more ambiguous talking phase. This transition led to confusion and uncertainty about our mutual expectations and the nature of our connection, at least for me personally. Some communication challenges are during the talking phase, as often withdrew during challenging times, leading to periods of limited communication. This behavior caused me significant emotional distress and left me questioning the stability of our relationship. The current situation is after a period of minimal contact, S has recently reached out expressing regret over past actions and his desire to reconnect. He has apologized for his previous withdrawal and indicated that he has reflected and grown during our time apart. I think he might actually want to lock down and commit, but after our whole history, I'm unsure of what I want to do. Objectively, I know I want to pursue something meaningful with this person, and also, I don't trust myself. My dilemma, I still have strong feelings for S, and can honestly say I truly love this person. I'm considering the possibility of rekindling our relationship, however, I'm cautious about the potential for repeating past patterns. My heart leans towards giving him another chance, but my mind is wary of experiencing the same hurt again. I'm seeking advice given our history. I'm torn between following my heart and protecting myself from potential hurt. What factors should I consider in making this decision? How can I assess whether S's intentions are claimed personal growth are genuine? Are there strategies to rebuild trust and ensure a healthier dynamic moving forward? Any insights or similar experiences would be greatly appreciated. Thank you for your guidance. Okay. What I'm first trying to figure out is how long it's been since after a period of minimal contact. That's what I'm wondering is how long that period was, because that is a huge detail that I feel like I need in order to assess whether this person has actually taken the time to grow and change. Because if it's like a few months, do I think that you can do some growth? Yes. Do I think that you've completely changed and you're not going to ever do anything like the past, like you've done in the past? No. I do think that you can take steps towards healing and towards changing and towards growing in that amount of time, because I have done that. Like when me and my current boyfriend broke up after a year of dating, we had probably 4 months total of not being together, and honestly, no contact during that time. Like I grew a lot. But that's not to say that I didn't carry a lot of my old habits from our relationship on, because obviously I don't think that you can completely like 180 and change completely as a person within that short of amount of time. But I do think that if there's like effort and there is a good amount of effort being taken actions wise, rather than just like saying that you're growing, there needs to be actions that align with that. So I feel like that's a conversation that you guys have, is like, what steps have you been taking? And are they the appropriate steps? Like, have you been going to therapy? Have you been maybe reading up on, I don't know, avoidant attachment? Because that's kind of what it seems like. If he's pulling back a lot, that is kind of seeming like he has a little bit of an avoidant attachment, and I think that is a big thing that he should work on, because that's something I worked on, but for an anxious attachment during my time without my boyfriend. And then that's something that as we started our relationship up again, we worked on together as a couple, and I still worked on separately as well, and then he worked on his stuff as well. So we were both going to therapy, and then when we were together, we were doing this workbook that is for couples, and it's about the attachment. Like, it's a workbook for couples and their designated attachment, if that makes sense. So we would go in this workbook and we would fill out all of the stuff for each of our attachment styles, and then we would talk about that and say like why we responded in this way. And it was nice because the workbook had the questions, so that like helped us guide our conversations. And then I think we had like a lot of breakthroughs, and we could understand each other a lot more, and then also not only understand each other but also learn a lot about ourselves and our anxious and our attachments, because my boyfriend used to have a very avoidant attachment and I was very anxious. And so I think we learned a lot about each other and a lot about our own attachments during that time, which helped with like recognizing how you react to certain situations and then how you can change from reacting that way. And obviously it takes a lot of work and a lot of like being mindful about the way that you are, because you're inherently like that. You know what I mean? Like, you are the person that you are, but that's not to say that you can't change. It's just it's a lot harder to break a habit if you're not putting in that effort. So I think that there's just a bigger conversation needed, and if it's a conversation that he's not willing to have, he's not willing to be vulnerable in that conversation, that would probably have your answer that you shouldn't be getting back together. So, sorry, my boyfriend just got home, so I just had to shut the door because he's gonna go get ready to go somewhere. But yeah, so I think that would show you a lot, like whether or not you like that conversation in itself will show you, is he actually doing the work, and is he actually willing to open up and be vulnerable and not pull back in situations like this, because that is going to show you a lot. But I also think that there is like a little bit of a trial that you could do after this conversation. Like, you don't have to jump right in and be like immediately we are together again. Obviously it's hard because you're going to open yourself up to this person again, and that is like risking you getting hurt. But I think just like standing strong on your values and your views is really important during this time, because then you can kind of let him in a little bit but not too much, and see if he's actually doing the work and putting in the work to get better and grow in that way. Does that make sense? So I don't really have a for sure answer, like yes, get back together with him, or no, don't get back together with him. I think there's a lot that needs to be discussed, and since I've been in this like situation myself, I would never be like just don't get back together with an ex, because I'm back together with my ex and it's been almost 3 years since we've been back together. So I'm not one to be like preaching never take an ex back, but our relationship was fairly healthy in the beginning. It was mostly just because of me, honestly. It was like also he was avoidant and I was anxious, and those are like opposite, and they actually like repel each other. Actually, anxious just like runs toward, and avoidant runs away. So you can see why that would be a challenging relationship to navigate. But yeah, I hope that helps a little bit. Obviously there's some I don't know what word I'm looking for, but there's some stuff that you need to do before. But more so with him included in the conversation a little bit more. I know that you said that you guys did have a talk, but I think that it's important to see like what actions he's doing and putting towards making it work. And then, yeah, but I can understand how frustrating that would be, and I hope that helped. Obviously, you can give me an update if you have one. I would love to hear about what you end up doing, and also maybe even a little bit more detail about like the time frame in which you guys took a break and what actions he's putting in towards growing. But yeah, I hope that helps. If you guys ever want advice, the Google form is below, so in the description, so you can ask me whatever and give me as much detail as possible. But I also just wanted to say that this is going to be a little out of order, I think, because this is going to come out on Friday, and then I think I talk about this a little like once before, so it's going to be a little out of order. But it's Wednesday today when I'm filming this episode, so today is the episode that came out about the advice drama with the girl calling me things and saying that I'm basically a shitty person. And you guys were so supportive in the comments, and genuinely, like, it made me emotional because I was just like, this, I don't know, I was honestly nervous about putting that out because I really didn't want to give negative attention to it and be like, act like, show them that it was affecting me, but I think it's only human to be affected by something like that. And I was just like really anxious about it for some reason. I was just like, oh, maybe other people are going to see this, and then that's going to be like, they're going to pile on and dogpile and be like, oh, this is my time to come out and like shine and hate on you. But a lot of you guys, which I don't know why, I think that's just what you expect. Like, you expect the worst, even though I've never gotten that impression. Like, you guys are always so kind and so amazing, and I genuinely appreciate your support so much. And trust me when I say it does not go unnoticed. And I'm just very thankful for this community. Like, I think that it's changed a lot, and I am really happy. And I'm really excited to grow more and more and get to connect with even more of you guys. And just seeing you guys in the comments is really nice. And I love chatting with you guys. And I hope to continue chatting with you all in the future as well. But also, I wanted to say that I made these cinnamon roll protein balls last night, and let me tell you, these, if you like cinnamon roll flavored stuff, like cinnamon rolls, you will absolutely love these. It's in my Discord. I have like a little chat room for recipes that I make, and I put it in there. It's a TikTok from this girl, but I made them last night, and oh my god, I'm literally obsessed. Like, I can't stop eating them, and they're so good. Like, I highly recommend them. And oh my god, I just can't even get over it. I've been making peanut butter protein balls for the past few weeks, for the past like month actually, and they're fine. Like, they're basically just balls of peanut butter mostly, but these ones actually taste like cinnamon rolls. Like, actually, obviously they're not as amazing as a cinnamon roll. It's a peanut butter ball with like oats and peanut butter, but it's so good. Like, it's so good in its own right that I can't even explain to you. So, yeah, you make it and then you like drizzle. Also, if you want to make them, I made mine with quick oats instead of the old fashioned, like, regular big ones, because the quick ones are super small, and I like that. I really like that they're smaller, so it's more of like a ball. It's more of like a chewy ball and less like filled with oats. I don't know if that makes sense, but I just typically don't like how big the oats are, but since these are the quick ones, they're way smaller, so you can't really even tell that they're in there. But they're really good. Highly recommend. And I've been cooking so many different things, so if you want to join the Discord for solely just recipes, you can do that. But um that's really all I think I have to say for now. All I just wanted to tell you guys is how much I appreciate you and how much love I really have for all of you kind people out there. And yeah. So I hope that you enjoyed this episode, and please let me know what you thought about the stories. Let me know if you have any advice. Obviously, everyone's views are different, so like, to each their own. And some people may be hardened to getting back together with their exes, and some people may be more open to it. So it's good to see different perspectives, but at the same time, I feel like always take it with a grain of salt because everyone's experiences are so different. And at the end of the day, we don't truly know the situation as a whole. Like, we don't truly know all the details. You give us as much detail as possible, but there's still some things that make a difference that we will never know unless you like wrote us a 70-page book. You know what I mean? So yeah, just take advice with a grain of salt, because obviously, like, you're going to get a lot of different opinions from different people from different walks of life, if that makes sense. But yeah, I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye. Love you guys. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.